Hi my beautiful people, welcome to another episode of me, Marcia Nyango, also known as the Fab Philosopher. And today we'll be talking about expose yourself to yourself. Thank you for joining me in another episode. If you like something, if you learned something, if I just entertain you, kindly like, share, subscribe, and comment. Be much appreciated. And as always, let's get right into it. So expose yourself to yourself. What do I mean by this? You should know yourself the best. Your weakness, your strengths, your insecurities, your icks, your likable qualities, your skills, the things that you want, the things that you don't want, the things you like, the things that you don't like. You need to tear yourself apart and see yourself as clearly as you possibly can. And this takes time, it takes effort, it takes money. It takes your genuine self-interest in yourself. You need to expose yourself to yourself so that you can be able to build better relationships with others. You can be able to build a life that you genuinely love and enjoy. And you can be able to tolerate yourself on a day-to-day basis. And also you can be able to improve, grow, and evolve into the best version of yourself. So how do you do this? How do you expose yourself to yourself? Number one is to observe yourself. Sometimes in situations we're too quick to react, we're too quick to defend ourselves. Sometimes just keep quiet and observe yourself. How do you feel when someone mentions something about you? Do you defend yourself too much? Are you too busy trying to convince others about yourself? Are you too busy trying to convince others to understand you? Take a moment, if it's daily, if it's hourly, if it's weekly, whatever it is, to observe your reactions in situations. And this means in the actual situation, when the thing is actually happening, whether it's an argument, whether it's receiving praise, criticism, whether it's confrontation with a stranger. Take some time in that moment to step back and observe yourself. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it is very possible. You can actually observe yourself when you're talking to someone, when you're dealing with something. Let there be a third self that is watching you as you go about your day-to-day life. And at the end of the day, at the end of the hour, whatever it is, take back some time and ask yourself, where were you defensive? Where were you too much, if I can put it that way? Where did you hold back? Where should have you defended yourself and you didn't? Where did you over communicate? Where did you overshare? And what was it that you were oversharing? What was it that you were defending? Is it something about an insecurity? Is it a fear? Is it a trauma that you haven't dealt with? So observe yourself as much as possible, and of course write this down somewhere. So the second way to expose yourself to yourself is, of course, to journal. You need to journal as much as possible in the moment, in the heat of the moment. If you can separate yourself from the situation, or even if it's later on, just don't let time elapse too much. Write down how you're feeling, what makes you angry, what makes you mad, what you're insecure about, what you fear, your past traumas, who you don't like and why, what you don't like about yourself, what you love about yourself, who you'd like to become, who you think you are. Write these things down. So journal as much as you can. Take video evidence, take video journaling if that is what works best for you. Draw pictures of how you think you see yourself. So literally tear yourself apart the way you'd observe a dissected animal in a science class or in a chemistry-like situation. So you are now the subject and the observation. So put yourself on a microscope, and the easiest way to do this is through journaling. Write down as much as you can about yourself, weakness and strength. Every day, what happened, what didn't you like, what can you do better, So be as honest with yourself, especially if something traumatic happens. Do not run from it. That is the time to spill your guts on paper and be as honest as you can with any traumatic situation as soon as possible. It is the quickest way to deal with any trauma that might befall you at any point or time. The third one is to seek clarification from others. Ask people what they think about you. Not directly, but just pay attention. Listen when other people are complimenting you, when they're talking about you, when they're criticizing you. Listen and don't take it personal. Most of the times when people tell us about ourselves, they're usually projecting, but there are people who are rational enough and okay enough with themselves to give you a true definition of who you are, or how society perceives you, or how other people perceive you. And most of the time, even those who do project, if it is something that is said by multiple people, most of who are strangers, it must be true, it may be true. So listen when other people are talking about you or talking to you about yourself. You might pick up few things which you might not be able to see from your own perspective. You can also get a therapist or a life coach or a trusted person and genuinely upfront ask them, what do you think about me, or where do you think my strengths or my weaknesses lie? These are in different categories of your life. Of course, you have the work side, you have the friend side, business side if you're in business, in all areas of your life. Try to find out as much as possible about yourself. Not from a selfish point of view. Can be selfish, but selfish in a good way. So try to find out as much as possible about yourself, even from other people. But don't make it all about you all the time. Also, of course, learn to know about other people. I just mean be keen when people are criticizing you, mentioning things about you here and there. It can help you pick out the places where you need to grow, improve, maintain, or change. So listen when other people are talking about you and do not take it personally. So last but not least is to do a shadow self-analysis. This means picking out the darkest bits of yourself and going through them and accepting them. So the reason why we need to go through our shadow self is so that we can accept him or her. So nitpick the darkest qualities of yourself. And you can do this through a questionnaire. There should be one to download. You can do this through just self-evaluation questions. What would you do in this case scenario? So pick out the worst situations that you think and see what you would do. Pick out your darkest fears. Pick out your darkest fetishes, your darkest, all those dark things that society tells us to hide away. Find them and evaluate them. So when someone asks you, what do you want, no matter how crazy it is, you know what it is that you want. So pick out your darkest wants, your most selfish thoughts, and bring them to the light. Do not run away from your shadow self. Do not run away from your darkest self, because that is a very strong part of you and it's very necessary for your growth and becoming your best self. So remember, exposing yourself to yourself is once again a daily task. It's a work in progress. As I say on this channel, we are always a work in progress. So tear yourself apart, group yourself together. Tear yourself apart piece by piece. It doesn't have to be a one-day thing. It's an everyday thing actually. So piece by piece, evaluate who you are. And the more you get to know yourself, the better your relationship with yourself becomes, the better your relationship with others, the better your life in general becomes. So thank you guys for watching an episode. Like something, if you learned something, if I just entertain you, kindly like, share, subscribe, and comment. And see you guys on the next one. Bye.